commence the business of the day, I direct that person to Standing Order 36. The quorum will be run for an initial 10 minutes or until such a time that the quorum shall be achieved. Quorum having been confirmed, we proceed with the business of the day. First order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
I have no communication to make at the moment.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers. Mr. Speaker, sir, under this order, there is a paper to be tabled by the Honorable Peter Gadungu Kamau, the Chairperson, Committee on Education, Vocational Training, Culture, Gender and Social Protection.
Very well. Honorable Peter Gadungu Kamau. Honorable Patience Manga.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to table the report of the Departmental Committee on Education, Vocational Training, Gender, Culture and Social Protection on the financial statements for the period ended 30th June 2025 for vocational training centers in Nyandarua sub-county. And I table.
Thank you. Honorable Patience, the report is duly tabled. The same shall be processed as directed by the House Business Committee, that is pursuant to Standing Order 157(5)D. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, statements. Order number 8, motions and bills. Mr. Speaker, sir, under this order, there are a number of motions to be moved. The first one being a motion by the Honorable Duncan Gedenji Chege, the Chairperson, Committee on County Public Accounts and Investments.
Very well. Honorable Duncan Gedenji Chege. Yes, Honorable Gedenji.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would love to move a motion on the report on audited financial operations of the Likobrosa Sports Tourism Conservation of Marathon Fund for the year ended 30th June 2025. And it's important that I say I'm doing this on behalf of my very able chair, Duncan Gedenji Chege. Mr. Speaker, it's important maybe I go through the, Mr. Speaker, the Public Accounts and Investment Committee is established under the Standing Order number 190 of the Nyandarua County Assembly Standing Orders and is mandated to examine the accounts showing the appropriation of sums voted by the House to meet public expectation. Mr. Speaker, the committee membership, Duncan Gedenji Chege is the chair. I think the members can see in their tablets. The membership is laid down there and also the secretariat. Mr. Speaker, allow me to go straight to the queries that were the Auditor General raised. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Office of the Auditor General, I'll go straight to the queries that the Auditor General asked, and I'll go to committee observation findings and recommendations. Mr. Speaker, the statement of comparison of budget and actual amounts reflects revenue budget and actual on comparable basis of 11,331 Kenyan shillings and 8,511,780 respectively, resulting in underperformance of the 2,819,220 or 25% of the budget. Similarly, the fund spent on amount of 8,498,708 shillings against an approved budget of 11,331 Kenya shillings, resulting in under expenditure of 2,832 Kenya shillings 292 shillings, or 25% of the budget. The management response, Mr. Speaker, that number one, the committee observed that such significant variance indicate weak planning and ineffective budget execution, which may have negatively affected implementation of the fund planned. Although management, number two, Mr. Speaker, although the management attributed the variance to weather-related delays in marathon activities and political upheavals that led to withdrawal of investors, the committee noted that adequate risk assessment and contingency planning were not demonstrated during the budget. The committee recommended, Mr. Speaker, that the fund administrator shall, within 30 days, submit to the county assembly a detailed budget implementation report explaining the specific programs affected by the underutilization and mitigation measures taken to ensure their implementation. Number two, Mr. Speaker, on the committee recommendation, the fund administrator shall develop and implement a comprehensive annual work plan aligned to the approved budget to ensure timely execution of planned activities and improved absorption of allocated funds. Number three, the fund administrator shall institute a risk management and contingency planning framework to address foreseeable external factors such as weather disruptions, political instability that may affect revenue generation activities. Number four, the county treasury shall strengthen monitoring of the fund budget performance through quarter reviews to ensure early identification and correction of variances. Number five, Mr. Speaker, in future budgeting cycles, the fund administrator shall ensure that revenue projections are realistic and supported by documented commitments from sponsor or investors, failing which the projection shall be deemed misleading and administrator held personally accountable. Mr. Speaker, I'll go to page number 11. We go to irregular facilitation of stakeholders to attend marathon. Mr. Speaker, the committee found out that the statement financial performance as disclosed in note 7 to financial statement reflects other expenses of 8,253,033, which included 1,110,000 paid to facilitate stakeholders attending a marathon event. However, it was not clear why stakeholders were being paid to attend a voluntary event. No documentation was provided to justify the criteria from the facilitation. In the circumstances, propriety of expenditure could not be confirmed. The management responded that expenditure on the stakeholders' facilitation was found necessary and duly approved, and that the same members of the community would be involved in tree planting. Committee finding. The committee observed that 1,110,000 was spent to facilitate stakeholders to attend a marathon event, yet event was voluntary in nature. No documentation was provided to justify the basis, selection criteria or approval framework for the facilitation. Consequently, the propriety and necessity of the expenditure could not be confirmed. The recommendation on the same, Mr. Speaker, about paying people to attend the marathon, no amount to be paid to stakeholders unless those participating with specific roles, they should be facilitated as per the CRSC guidelines. Mr. Speaker, from there, I'll go to the committee also found out there was unclear criteria for selection of marathon technical stewards. The statement financial performance as disclosed in note 7 to financial statement reflects other expenses of 8,253 shillings, 253,033 shillings, which included 830,000 paid to train marathon technical stewards. However, no documentation was provided to show the criteria or process used to select the stewards for training. The management responded that the management did not clarify the criteria or process used to select the stewards. Mr. Speaker, the committee concurred with the Auditor General that 830 130,000 shillings was incurred to train marathon technical stewards, yet no documentation was provided to demonstrate the criteria selection process or approval procedures used to identify the individuals for training. As a result, the transparency and propriety of the expenditure could not be confirmed. Raised concern regarding fairness, accountability, and priority of the expenditure. The committee could not establish the key deliverables and their sustainability. The expenditure was found to be unsustainable. The committee recommended for technical stewards to be one of the activities funded through the AFMAD allocation placed under the sports department. Mr. Speaker, I'll go to the conclusion. Mr. Speaker, the committee has now concluded its examination of the report of the Office of the Auditor General on Lake Orobrosa Sports Tourism and Conservation, Marathon Fund. In undertaking this review, the committee carefully considered the audit queries, the responses submitted by the management, and the applicable provisions of the Public Finance Management Act and the relevant fund regulations. The committee is satisfied that the issues raised in the audit report have been adequately interrogated and appropriate accommodation made to safeguard accountability in the management of the fund. The committee therefore submit this report to the County Assembly for consideration and adoption. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I call Honorable Kayan to second.
Thank you, Honorable Lucy. Thank you, Honorable Kayini. And I now propose the question, which is, this House does adopt the report of the Committee on County Public and Investments on the report of the Office of Auditor General on the Lake Orobrosa Sports Tourism and Conservation Half Marathon Fund for the year ended 30th June 2025 as a report of the House and recommendations therein as the resolution of the House. Yes, sir, Honorable Shamba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I like to support the report on some few recommendations that have been highlighted by the chair, or rather the dissenting member of that committee. The report on the Auditor General Financial Operation of Lake Orobrosa Sports Tourism and Conservation of Marathon of the year that ended 2025. Mr. Speaker, the report has actually highlighted on the underperformance of the funds that were appropriated to that department. Bear in mind, Mr. Speaker, that 331,000, there was a variance of underperformance of 2.8 million, Mr. Speaker. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, actually it's affected the programs that were intended to be done by the committee, or by the committee that was responsible for that. So, Mr. Speaker, the intended purpose for that project was never achieved.
I think maybe Honorable Mbogo and Kasana, just be fair to the House, consort in low tones.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. That the intended purpose was not achieved. However, Mr. Speaker, they have indicated that there was some weak planning in terms of what they had intended to do in terms of budget execution. Mr. Speaker, they have indicated that there were some political upheavals that actually necessitated investors not to come in and bring more funds toward the same project. We need to understand who are those political figures that were there to involve in such a crucial activity that could in future bring some resources to this county. And I actually agree that they have given up about that days so that the Assembly can be given recommendations from the department, so that, Mr. Speaker, we can be able to understand why was there underutilization. Although they have cited that weather condition actually affected the program, they need to have some programs on the projections on weather, Mr. Speaker, to do at the program at the right time, so that, Mr. Speaker, prudent use of public resource can be managed effectively. So, Mr. Speaker, in a nutshell, I wish to actually comment on that and let them come over with a clear indication on how, Mr. Speaker, why there was that underperformance in terms of budget execution. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Kashamba. Honorable Ngeshe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I sit in Committee for Water. And the term is going down when I can say I'm not a happy member of this committee. Mr. Speaker, page 10, lack of evidence on trees planted and aftercare activities. I understand this report is the Auditor General, but we had invited those persons and individuals to the committee at a committee level, and exactly what an Auditor General in Nairobi can see is what we had seen. Page 10, lack of evidence on trees planted and aftercare activity. It has been read, but let me read verbatim so that we understand where we are as a county, so that somebody will not be saying the government is being fought. Nobody is fighting the government, but they must be told what is real. A review of the record revealed that the FAD intended to plant 600 seedlings during the marathon event. However, there was no report or evidence provided to confirm the number of trees planted, their location, or aftercare measure undertaken. What is being told? That there was donation for trees. They were donated, trees, by recognized institutions in this country. They donate trees. They give trees that you can go and plant, but they have the same budget that they bought trees, they purchased the trees. How I wish the governor Badilisha is now seeing how they are badilishaing whatever is intended. You see, a budget is there. Go and purchase trees. The trees, it is a donation that has been provided by institutions. They have record that and on this particular day, we gifted them this number of trees. But when you go to ground, the start of quote, mambo ni tofauti. There is no trees.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, what is the point
I
of
am
order?
left wondering, are we talking about trees or the seedlings for the trees?
Honorable Ngeshe, respond.
That was not
that
was
should
not
be
a point of order. Because,
information.
yeah.
Whatever it was, I need that.
Chair, you protect me because I don't use the word whatever it was, because see, I can take that information or I leave it. So these are the trees.
Maybe Honorable Ngeshe, Honorable Maria, was your information to the member or to the House?
I asked a question, Mr. Speaker, because I kept listening and the word trees came into.
So in other words, you are seeking clarification.
I wanted to know, is it trees or are we talking about the Badilisha seedlings for the trees? Very well.
Well noted. Honorable Ngeshe, proceed. Maybe in the course of your debate, you can put it more clear.
Chair, I bring your attention to page 1. Let me go to page 1, Chair, so that we understand what is happening in this government. Page 1, Mr. Speaker, is that, not page 1 really, But there was somewhere that we are told that we don't have a good internal system, financial management system. It was page 3. You see, Chair, this is where our problem is. That
actually page 3, paragraph 2.
Thank you, Chair. However, the committee observed serious weaknesses in financial management, internal controls, and statutory compliance. And also, where I was page 10, Chair, I am trying to, there was an indication that the auditor is telling this house that there is no prudent use of resources. Let me now at least try to explain. I will not be emotional. Let me try to explain to my elder sister here. Number 10, about now the point that is in that report. Lack of evidence on trees planted. So when you are planting tree, you don't plant the seedling. You now plant the tree itself. This is cypress. This is greenas mescan. These are indigenous trees. So you are not, the institution will not bring you the seedlings. They have already prepared the seedling to become a tree.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, and maybe as you come up on a point of order, I hope the mover of this motion is keenly listening, because in your response, I want you to note something in number 3, the one that Honorable Mokesha is talking about. There's an aspect of lack of evidence on trees planted. Then you'll note it. I want you to note so that during the response you are careful. Then when you are proceeding, review of records revealed that the fund intended to plant 600 seedlings during the marathon. But you still proceed as a committee and state there was no report of evidence provided to confirm number of trees planted. So maybe you will come up clear when responding. What was the point of order, Honorable Kayeni?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, probably it is not a point of order per se. It could be a point of order and at the same time point of information. Because we're seeing semantics here which are a bit confusing. When you plant a tree, do you plant a whole tree big as it is, or you plant a seedling to get a tree? When I look at my dictionary telling me what a seedling is, seedlings are young plants in the early growth stage, developing from seeds through germination with a small stem and first leaves. Do you plant trees or you plant seedlings of trees? So I got a bit lost as I was following Honorable Geshe's contribution. The same case that I think caused the Chief Whip to seek clarification. I'm not trying to collect you, Honorable Geshe. I'm following you very closely. But again, because you're unanswered, we would want to set our records very clear. And I know that is why, Mr. Speaker, you informed the mover to take those notes. Because I don't know how you can plant a tree big as it is, or you'd be planting a seedling. And from the definition, a seedling is a small plant in its early growth stage. So are you transplanting a tree or a seedling? Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Geshe, proceed.
Mr. Speaker, you know climate change is changing. It is well highlighted in page 10 that the review of the record revealed that the fund intended to plant 600 seedlings during the marathon event. However, there was no report or evidence provided to confirm the number of trees planted. So whether semantic, whether what, it is self-explanatory. You know you cannot defeat what is known. These seedlings, after 1 year, 2 years, they become trees. So that is why I'm saying the climate must be changing. So, Mr. Speaker, let me conclude because...
Point of information. Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, what is the point of order, Honorable Kayeni?
Thank you. You know, Honorable Geshe in his contribution won't drag me into non-issues. We're dealing with the semantics here. He knows just too well you cannot transplant a tree. And in the same confusion, I've listened to him refer to you, Mr. Speaker, as the chair. And I'm wondering here with my colleague, is this the chair or the speaker? And we have been patient with him. Now he's dragging me to climate change. What has climate change got to do with the misuse of English words? Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Ngeshe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know how emotive it is when we come to election hearing period. So I will shun from using jargon that may be related to someone. So, there is irregular facilitation. Mr. Speaker, I've made my point on the issue of trees. We found that as a committee, we could not trace these three, and we are planning even a site visit to really have even the photo to support this. Mr. Speaker, there is this irregular facilitation of stakeholders to attend the marathon. The list that we are provided with had almost, I don't know, it is a conservative, I don't know what they call it, but there is a, we are saying it is conservation, something to do with conservation. And when you read, the statement financial performance disclosed in Note 7 to financial reflect other expenses of 8 million. Now, do you know of 8 million? Which include 1,110,000 paid to facilitate stakeholders' attendance of marathon event. However, it was not clear why stakeholders were being paid to attend a voluntary event. No documentation was provided to justify the criteria for the facilitation. And you see, as a committee, that list, and how I wish the chairman was here. If you try to call somebody on that list, he or she is not relating with that money, what happened, or that particular event. What was the idea of this marathon? What was the idea of this marathon? It was to conserve the lake. And we brag, it is the only freshwater lake in East and Central Africa. You know, it is somewhere in Orjororok, where ward. When you look even at that particular road to add the lake, it is pathetic. And as I conclude, Mr. Speaker, because this is very emotive issue, whereby people, they don't have the feeling when they are eating money, because money has been eaten here. And the auditor is telling you the money has been eaten. 11 million. When we asked them, now you maintain the account. When is the marathon? It is around somewhere April. Okay. Do you have voluntary contribution now? No, we are waiting for the day for the marathon. And also we are praying how the county government should have budget. And this chair budget, at least you should do us fair. You don't entertain this kind of business here. Because out of 11 million, the only money that can be accounted is the uniform that they bought for themselves. I saw they had branded jackets, and this is the money that can be accounted for out of this marathon. And this is serious. You know, if this report gets to the hands of those people who really care for the prudent use of monies in this country, people should be rotting in jail, including that particular person who carries the impress around. Go to the new bank in the town. That is where the money is being withdrawn by check. You can see the check, money being withdrawn. In quote, head of quote, Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support the committee for good work they have done to bring this to right.
Thank you, Honorable Ngesha. Honorable Matimo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to really thank the Auditor General because today he has vindicated me on something that I didn't mention when we were passing. Was it CSSP? Mr. Speaker, I would wish members to visit together with me page 9 of this report, on where we have number 2, where we have a query, value for money in marathon preparation activities. Mr. Speaker, if we read the second part of it, which is saying, which I wish to read, which include other expenses of 8,253,033 shillings for facilitating the officers to engage in sponsorship lobbying, looking for sponsors. Attend relevant meeting follow-ups on sponsorship commitments, so that at least we can have sponsors to come and sponsor this marathon. However, despite this substantial expenditure, the fund only secured 1.5 million. Mr. Speaker, it's laughable. You use 8 million to get 1.5 million. It's a total joke, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Matimo, let's have order, please. You have finished?
Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry for that, but it doesn't beat any logic. You use 8 million to go and get yourself 1.5. I just wish, Mr. Speaker, instead of looking for sponsors, we could have used this 8 million for the marathon. And I want to join Honorable Ngesha that this fund, we put money for people to eat, in quotes. At the same time, Mr. Speaker, like I did say the other time, you find that we don't allocate any money to repair the road that is left in deliberate manner. If you ask the honorable member from this area, that road right now, Mr. Speaker, is in bad state. Yet, it goes to Lake Bolsat, whereby it's supposed to be a tourist attraction. The same fund, Mr. Speaker, the other time I was told that apart from running, we do plant trees. The auditor here is saying it clearly, that there is no evidence of even a single tree that has grown, was planted and has grown, Mr. Speaker. I would humbly request the chair budget that even the 2 million that we did allocate for this fund, we scrapped the 2 million. Let's use that 2 million to do that road from Kasuku towards Lake Bolsat. It will be of more value to us than putting money that will end up being eaten, Mr. Speaker. As I sit down, Mr. Speaker, I would wish that amongst the recommendation that was in this report is let people be surcharged, Mr. Speaker, because money has been eaten. County money has been eaten, I quote, heheto, Mr. Speaker. With that, I support, and I humbly request that the Committee on Water, kindly, let's continue digging deeper on this report. I wish the chair was here, so that at least we can know what is eating the other in this particular fund, Mr. Speaker. With that, I support.
Thank you. Oh, yes, Honorable Kate.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me raise my issue from where Honorable Matimo began his. The issue of the CFSP that was before us in the House last week, where we had a conversation about withdrawing this money. The money that was allocated for this marathon was really not about conservation. It was about awareness, so that people know that our lake is receding, and therefore, the only way we can conserve that lake is remove people who have encroached on the lake. That is how you do conservation. I did not hear about anybody who was removed from the lake or who was polluting into the lake so that conservation can happen. So I really think even the way the fund or the way the marathon is named is completely wrong. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, is on number 5. Number 5 speaks about the fund not being able to bring quarterly reports. And Mr. Speaker, I wish to even highlight other funds. For example, we have the NAV CDP. I sit in the agriculture docket. We have the NAV CDP, we have the revolving fund, we have the emergency fund. They do not bring quarterly reports to this house. And this is just one of them that they are not bringing, and which has been highlighted well by the Auditor General. And to our shock is that the Budget Committee continues every time to provide funding for these funds. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, is the issue of the stakeholders and being facilitated. It has been spoken about by my colleagues, and I think I am a stakeholder in this marathon. I put up a very big banner on all my social pages, and I think every one of us did. We all participated, and I don't think we got paid. Unless I don't understand what a stakeholder is. I discuss it here, so I am a stakeholder in every way. I sit in those budget committees when we are going through them in the House, so I am a stakeholder by every right, and yet I am not a partaker of that money. So I think they need to actually tell us who is a stakeholder in definition. Honorable Speaker, the lake is back and it's overflowing. Every morning when I take a walk to the lake, I live near the lake. So every morning when I take a walk to the lake, I see very many blue gum trees planted around the lake. Conservation cannot happen with blue gum. And that is why the Auditor General is very clear to say that there are no indigenous trees that were planted. Because the people who had encroached and planted the blue gum and cut them, what happens when you plant a blue gum tree is that it's only one tree that sprouts. When you cut it, I can tell you that thing has a capacity to bring 20 other shoots. So that is what is happening around the lake. And I think tomorrow morning as I walk to that lake, I will send a photo to the group and to my social media pages to just show that we are not doing the right thing to Nyandarua. Finally, Mr. Speaker, if this money, 8 million, that was used to conserve the lake, I don't see the continuity. We can't now have a marathon. We must have a different activity to enhance continuity. And that is the only way programs become sustainable. So, Honorable Speaker, I feel bad about this report, and yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Kate. Honorable Kungu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm a very happy person, as I have said in the past, because for the first time, the Big Back Committee has done justice to this House and to the people of Nyandarua. We have concentrated so much on allocating and appropriating money and very little time into knowing where this money is going. These are reports by independent offices. So when the reports comes, we are not witch hunting anybody. If these were reports prepared by the committee, for example, the Water Committee, we would have said the chairman and the committee are witch hunting the department. These are reports done by technical people, independent offices, and this is the face of where our money goes. We come here in good faith. We are struggling to get money. We are struggling to give money to departments to finance projects and programs. But eventually, this is what happened. I'm very sad that a certain afternoon, in a date I cannot remember, we were hurriedly mobilized to pass this fund because it was an emergency. So it was not an emergency to conserve the lake. It was an emergency to chill and to get money to eat. I was very frustrated because I was seated here. And I remember, Honorable Achiro, the much effort we put into this document so that we can see this act for forming this fund come into place. Honorable Speaker, you feel very frustrated when you hear that 830,000 was used to train marathon stewards. Who are marathon stewards? 830,000. There were some people, I don't know whether they were, who are they seated there, steward, waiting for people to invite them and to tell them this is Ouroboros at marathon. 830,000. Stakeholders, an activity that is voluntary. They were paid 1,110,000. Honorable Speaker, there is a big problem. And how I hope that when the Picky Park Committee is bringing these reports, Honorable Speaker, the specific sectoral committee, as Honorable Gesha has stated because he sits in the Water Committee, sits here and listen and takes this report and go back to the department and investigate further because they have ample time, because it is becoming very frustrating. We intended to conserve the lake. We know the threats that this lake is facing. Today, if you are going to scrap this fund, we know we are going to go back to where the lake is going to sit, and there will be no lake. Yet we had good faith when we were providing this money, and we wanted to see our lake back. We wanted to see the community that is living around that place are engaged in conservation. We wanted to see that they established 3 nurseries. From these 3 nurseries, they are able to sell to the county government where they can get some income from what they are doing. We wanted to see businesses coming up. We wanted, now, if this is the report of the Editor General, how do we in future attract sponsors who would come to give us money to conserve that over there? So, or that lake. No, now, Honorable Speaker, sometimes I think we need to sit as a house and agree. After we have talked this afternoon, what then? What next? Because that is now that will distinguish us between Nyandarua County Assembly and Mang Boys Debating Club. Well, what next? We have noted that money has chewed. We have noted what have happened in the department. What next? So that we can make a lesson next year, the same manner. And Honorable Speaker, if members of this county assembly are going to be careful and look at the Auditor's General report, there is a very serious problem when it comes to the recurrent expenditure. And I want you to look at all those funds that are mostly involved with the recurrent expenditure. After we have allocated money, there is nothing that goes to what was intended to do. I think, Honorable Speaker, invite us for a whole house, as a house. Let us go sit as a house of this Nyandarua and look back and reflect. And we look at these Pick Pack reports and agree for our way forward. We are the only people who God has bestowed us power to save Nyandarua. And if we don't wait such a time as this, God is going to raise a generation of other people who will come and they will ask these questions. It is bad. It is unfair. It is bad as unfair. Let money go where it was intended because there is enough money to do these programs. Otherwise, thank you, Picky Park, for bringing these issues out. I know that in the future, we're going to sit down and see what happened. And I support, more particularly, where you have said that people be surcharged. At least we should surcharge at least 3 or 4 people. And Honorable Speaker, because you have powers to arrest through the sergeant at arm, you should allow us to arrest one of the officers one of these fine days, so that now we can start being taken seriously. And they know that we have powers to do that. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Wanjiru.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let Kayani take it first as I look at the information here that has been sent to me.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Kayani.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Milka, for the opportunity to even to speak before you even having the Speaker caught your eye. Honorable Speaker, I'm a member of the Committee on PICPAC. I bowed so that I get an opportunity to contribute when the other members are contributing. I happen to have been the chair for the Committee on Trade, within which tourism was domiciled before it was finally taken away from us. I am aware, together with the chair budget, who happens also to be a member of my Committee on Tourism, Trade and Tourism, to have been very pivotal in lobbying for these resources for the very genuine, quote, in quote, reason for conservation, sport conservation purpose for the Lake Olobolosat. As Honorable Gesha did allude to, that I'm very passionate on matters climate change, and indeed I am. And when the matters of conservation came about, I was on the forefront, together with the chair budget and the other members of the Trade Committee, to approve this funding, genuinely hoping and believing that there's a very purpose in which sport can be used for conservation purposes will be realized for this conservation of this resource. Honorable Speaker, you know, when morning comes, later in the day, evening beckons. And when the evening comes, goats and sheep, for that matter, comes back to the pen. And indeed, I'm figuratively speaking that this assembly is realizing and seizing the moment to do the right thing, the very purpose in which it was created, the role of oversight. The Auditor General is an external body that had the opportunity, mandated so by law and the Constitution, to look into the books of the county government. And Honorable Speaker, when they highlight issues that we need to look into, the Committee on PICPAC sees the moment and the opportunity to delve deeper on the findings of this of Auditor General. And one of the disturbing reports that this committee is looking at is the report that is before this House today. I want to take this opportunity to inform Honorable Kongo, Honorable Geshe, and the other members that there are other damning reports highlighted by the Auditor General regarding financial misappropriation within other sectors in the county government. As much as we feel beaten and defeated to explain it, such as this matter, there are also other matters. And for me, when I look at where we are in terms of the life of this assembly and this government for that matter, I see we are at the tail end. As Honorable Gesha did allude to, that we are looking to other adventures in politics. As we get to that point, the question, as the other generation gets raised, as Honorable Kongo did allude to look into this matter and to do the right thing, I shudder when I imagine the county government, led by His Excellency the Governor, appearing before the Senate to answer such questions, believing that there is no evidence for trees that were ever planted by a voluntary group that was paid. It's to be one of the Hungarian things that we might find ourselves having difficulties to explain before the cameras of the whole Republic. And for that reason, I do not have, neither do I purpose to sever good news to the executive. I'll be fixed on the TV following this matter from the comfort of my couch, expecting an explanation to be given to the other part of the government from a government that I happen to be oversighting. I am reminded, sadly, that one day we were asked about how many kids we have in our ECDs. And I don't want to say that we don't know, but actually we forgot. And so having to explain how a voluntary function activity like this was, payments were done, and having to spend 8 million to look for 5 million, is what I would call, quote unquote, kizungumukuti, to explain. So I take my seat, Honorable Speaker. I want to say this to the Honorable Chair Budget, Honorable Kongo, who seizes the opportunity to appropriate finances to the government that as you do so, time has come for you to ask the questions. And ask the questions. Ask the hard questions. Demand for hard answers. If they don't make sense, it's a high time we put money to where, the money where it serves our people. We only have 1 year to do so. I wonder whether that year is enough to redeem our image. I rest my case.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Milka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I wish also to weigh into the discussion about Lake Oroborosat, a lake which is very, very passionate to me, a lake that harbors history within myself, because this is a lake I've seen since I was born. And as I keep on repeating that my mother used to cross that lake by foot to go and look for school fees so that I can go to Nyandarua High School. So I'm very, very passionate about this lake. And as one member said, it is not only in Weru Ward. The lake cuts across, I think, 5 wards, including my ward, larger part of my ward from Ziwani, all the way to Kamukunga, to Fari, all the way to the Githungosho. All that part of my ward cuts across the lake. And Mr. Speaker, when we speak about this issue, it's because we are very, very passionate about that lake, and we know the importance of that lake to the ecosystem, not only in Nyandarua, but also to people downstream. It is a source of economical value to many other counties downstream, including the TFOs here, including many conservancies down there. So when we talk about conservation of the Lake Oroborosat, we are not only talking about conservation only in Nyandarua. It's a lake that supports so many livelihoods downstream, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my concern today, and also to mention, Mr. Speaker, we have done many documentaries. If you go to my YouTube channel or you go to Mheshimiwa Mbogo's YouTube channel, you'll see some documentaries we have made for that lake. Because we want to create awareness, we want people to know about that lake, we want, about, the importance of that lake. And we even had passed a motion in this assembly petitioning the Senate to gazette that lake, Mr. Speaker. And I don't know how far the county government took that motion, or it's just lying somewhere, because we had requested at this assembly that that lake be gazetted under natural resources, so that it can have a department that really thinks about it, not only an MCA law, but also the wildlife conservation law. However, Mr. Speaker, I'm concerned because I see if we pass this motion today, and I'm sure we are going to pass it, there will be no funding for the Lake Oroborosat. So all the intentions they had for the lake will die today. Because there is a recommendation here clearly stating that the budget committee should not fund the lake for the year 2026-2027. It is clearly stated here. And if this motion passes, then we have no option but to just stop the funding. But however, what will happen to the marketing that the marathon intended to do? What will happen to the conservation that the marathon intended to do? What will happen? How are we going to account for the value of money? That is my point. We have done it 2 years in a row. And earlier here, there was a discussion between whether it's seedlings or seed or trees. But, Mr. Speaker, when I speak about the value for money, I'm supposed to see 2-year-old trees along the lake. I'm supposed to see my farmers along Fari, because that is the catchment, Kamukonga, Githungosho, having fruit seedlings, avocado seedlings, tree seedlings, cypress that were given because of this conservation, Mr. Speaker. If we provided money for seedlings all for trees, as they call them. Can we see that anywhere around that lake? Number 2, marketing, visibility of the lake. Can the department tell us how many people have seen that we have the lake and responded positively? All right? How many? I know through our motion here, Mr. Speaker, that we passed that time, the Senate, through Honorable Senator Mezu, and the second Deputy President, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, brought 10,000 seedlings to Shamata, Gurumo area. And when you visit Shamata today, you'd see some fruit seedlings around there because those also form part of the catchment. But for 2 years in a row, we see zero evidence that there was marathon. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to join my colleagues and say we all had good intentions for the lake. However, we are at a point where now we are not ready to spend more money on this lake unless the department does something drastic, unless the strategy is changed, and unless they take the word conservation seriously. I wish they brought seedlings, avocado seedlings. I'm given 10,000 to give my farmers who form the catchment in Kirita Ward. 10,000 seedlings to be given to Shamata, 10,000 seedlings to be given to Eru. At least we would have said our members have benefited and they have planted 3 seedlings to conserve the environment for the sake of this lake. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, unless they said they change the strategy, we are not going anywhere. Finally, the issue of these funds, we need to take it seriously because we cannot continue giving funds to programs that are not helping this county. We need to sit, as my colleagues have said, discuss about the funds and see whether these funds have value for money. If they do not, we scrap all the funds. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Mbogo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. And I'll echo the words that were said by Honorable Kongo, in where we are discussing a report that emanated from a well-established institution in this country. Myself comes from the same area. Actually, the gate of the said lake is in my ward. Mr. Speaker, it goes without saying. When you tell us that you planted trees, maybe they were planted elsewhere, but in Nuero there is none. And I've seen a very good recommendation that in 30 days' time, the committee will be going to prove where and ascertaining where the trees were planted. I would beseech the committee and its function, when you are going, please involve me as one of the affected people. Another thing is an amount of a tune of 1.1 million or something is spent on stakeholders. I don't understand where I come from because I've never heard of stakeholders from my area. Maybe they emanated elsewhere. When you say that when you go to that lake, its gate starts from Kasuku town, I can point blankly say, even during that marathon, the repair of that road emanated from the budget of Weru Ward. And I can repeatedly say it. It was done by machineries, it was done from the budget of Weru. So there is nothing that emanated from the same. Mr. Speaker, when this House set aside money that is expected to do a fund that is for coming up with, what you have said it very well, Mheshimiwa from Kirita, there was a time that lake was dry. Everybody was thinking that coming up and coming in, we are going to rehabilitate it. But it is more worse now. Because the shade trees, if they were planted, maybe they were planted in the other 5 wards, because in my ward, I don't see anything that was planted. The only thing I know, and you are going to see when you go, are there at the just entry point. The one that was planted by the governor, and the dignitaries, mine is there, the 350 that are there. But the 600, I can attest, they are not there. Maybe they were planted overnight. All these recommendations are good.
But as Mheshimiwa Kongo have said, they are taking us nowhere. It is the high time we should see from the department action plan done to them that misappropriated money, and if possible, the fund should be struck. Because who ascertains us that if we give the same amount of money in this financial budget year that is starting, that the money is going to be spent well? So eyes are on you, because I can see, and it's a very good report from the PICPA committee. In fact, if I happen to go to any other legislative house, I'll belong to the PICPAC, because this is where things are being scrutinized. I've been in budget committee where we appropriate, but I have seen that I should also be pointing my eye in PICPAC in where money is spent, because you can always appropriate, but the issue comes in when you spend and spend wisely. We support the report wholeheartedly, and wait until you and see where all these recommendations are going to take us, especially the ones on the tree, so that we can come up and finally come with a motion. But they are good recommendations, like the one that is being mentioned. I am wondering now whether we are going to appropriate the money, having said that we approve the motion, and you have clearly said that from your way of perspective and seeing of things, it should be abolished. It is painful. I come from the same area. We had goodwill to try and help the REC, but if the money is going to the direct pockets, then it should be abolished. Or other ways of coming up with the salvation of the REC might come, but not this way of squandering of government money. Thank you, and I support the report.
Thank you, Honorable Mboko. Maybe probably you would have called the mover.
And it is my privilege to call the mover of the good motion.
Yeah, mover, respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. First, I want to thank the House for supporting the report of the committee on the auditor's report on Recall Brosat marathon. Mr. Speaker, I also want to say that if the members looked at the recommendation that the committee has given, most of our answers are there. Mr. Speaker, maybe Honorable Ngeshi asked that there were trees that were planted and there's nothing to be seen. The committee, verbatim I can read, Mr. Speaker, since the committee was constrained by time during compilation of report, the committee will do a physical verification of trees planted, if any, and report to the House within 30 days. So, Mr. Speaker, as a committee will go see if there were any trees that were planted. I also want maybe Honorable Stephen Moredi stated the poor status of the road, maybe so that we can be able to market Lake Brosat. It's important that roads that are leading to Lake Brosat, may it be for tourism, may it be for sporting, it's important that the roads are good. So maybe the concerned department should make sure that the roads leading to the Lake Brosat are good. Also, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Catherine also talked about us planting the indigenous trees. I would love to inform this House, it's the tree planting season, and all the centers in Nyandarua that the forest centers are giving trees for free. So I also want to believe maybe they were given trees for free if they were given, or maybe when we go there as a committee, we'll be able to respond if there were any trees planted, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, also the House has talked, Honorable Kongo has talked about surcharging members who misappropriated, or maybe 8, the word they are using, if it's 8, the public money. The committee also recommends the same on our recommendations. If someone did eat public money, is there a time they returned money to the public for other better use? Honorable Speaker, I'll also, Honorable has asked the committee as we go, so we involve him because that is where he comes from. We assure him that when we are going to see if there were trees or what is happening along Lake Brosat, we'll invite him so that maybe we can go there. Mr. Speaker, the recommendations that the PICPAC has given to this House, if they are put in place, Mr. Speaker, we will be able to make sure that public funds are utilized in the right way, and maybe The members who are misusing public funds should be somewhere else, maybe not near the public funds. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I respond.
Thank you, Honorable Lucy. And I now put the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment on the report of the Office of the Auditor General on the Lake Olborosa Sports Tourism and Conservation Have Marathon Fund for the year ended 30th June 2025 as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolution of the House. May those of a similar opinion say aye.
Aye.
May those of a contrary opinion say nay. And the ayes have it. Clerk, next order.
Under the same order, Mr. Speaker, sir, there is a procedural motion to be moved by the Honorable Duncan Githinji Chege, the Chairperson, Committee on County Public Accounts and Investments.
Thank you, Honorable Duncan Githinji. Honorable Muhindi. Yes, how are you, Honorable Muhindi?
And we are meeting timelines, then that is enough reason. But this is a report of the Auditor General, and probably we have not even gone through it to read through it. It has just been given to us. We don't know what is in the Auditor General's report. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm seeking clarification. Why are we exempting it from the normal process?
Yes, Honorable Ngeshe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support that it should be moved very fast because there are glaring issues in this report. And also, so that we can be able to debate. They have timeline. The auditor report do have timeline. And I can sense we are going for a short recess. So it should be moved very fast. And also remember this, the Auditor General only deals with the post-mortem. The post-mortem has been done. And we want to know what exactly is ailing our county. I support.
Yes, Honorable.
Honorable Speaker, I also want to support that it should be moved because you know the auditor's reports have timelines, and if you are not very careful, after so much work that has been done by the Pick-Pack Committee, that report might be rendered useless. So we want it so that those recommendations and resolutions that has been done by the committee can be adopted by this House for action, Honorable Speaker. So I support they should be allowed to be moved today. We are here patiently waiting, and we want to listen and also to debate on this report.
Yes, Honorable Muhin. Yes, Honorable Matimu.
Mr. Speaker, I'm here to support that we move this motion. Mr. Speaker, I think we've had several motions that we are seeking that we overlook what is in our standing order. And from the report, Mr. Speaker, because it's on our gadgets, it's a report that if you look at the mood of the House, we are eagerly waiting for the mover to move so that, Mr. Speaker, we can handle, and especially the recommendation therein, because we have a lot of gray areas. So I support that the same be moved. And with that, I call the mover.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Milka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I sought clarification.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
I thought mostly when
that is where we are headed, yeah.
When the things are moved very fast, probably there are issues that are being hidden. But from the spirit of the House, I am in the spirit that it should be moved so that those things can be handled immediately.
Yes, Honorable Muhindi.
Mr. Speaker, I move.
Maybe from what Honorable Anjiro Milka raised, that report has a deadline, and that is a statutory timeline of 90 days since receiving And having been received in the office of the clerk, it was received on 22nd December 2025. The deadline is therefore 22nd March 2026, which will be this coming Sunday. The House therefore has to transact this business because we'll be out of timeline.
Well guided.
Thank you. I now put the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment on the report of the Office of the Auditor General on the Nyandarua County Health Facility Improvement. I beg your pardon. I now put the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts on the sorry, it's not very clear for me. It's okay, it's okay. It's my eyes with the problem. That this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Public Accounts and Investment on the report of the Office of Auditor General on the Nyandarua County Health Facility Improvement Financing Fund for the year ended 30th June 2025 as a report of the House, and the recommendations therein as a resolution of the House be exempted from the requirement of Standing Order 55B that requires a notice of motion be given at least 1 day before the motion appears on the order paper. May those of a similar opinion say aye. May those of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk, next order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, under the same order, there is a substantive motion to be moved by the Honorable Duncan Githinji-Chege.
Very well, Honorable Mohindi.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move the following motion, that this House does adopt the report.
Honorable Mohindi, there was, in yesterday's sitting, there was something raised by one of our members, that we will always start, and I think that was Honorable Ngeshe, we will always start by saying, having been instructed by the chair, so that it can go on record.
Mr. Speaker, I would rather use the word mandated, having been mandated by the Committee
Thank you.
on PICPAD. I beg to move the following motion, that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment on the report of the Office of the Auditor General on the Nyandarua County Health Facility Improvement Financing Fund for the year ended 30th June 2025 as a report of the House, and the recommendations therein as the resolutions of the House. Mr. Speaker, since it's a long report, I'll kindly beg members that we go quickly together. Mr. Speaker, the executive summary. This report presents the findings of the Public Accounts and Investments Committee following its examination of the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the Nyandarua County Facility Improvement Fund for the financial year ended 30th June 2025, pursuant to Standing Order number 90 and Article 229/8 of the Constitution. The fund was established to allow county health facilities to retain and utilize revenue to support healthcare service delivery. However, Mr. Speaker, the committee observed serious weaknesses in financial management, internal controls, and statutory compliance in the administration of the fund. Key issues included unsupported balances, lack of bank reconciliations, revenue inconsistencies, irregular recruitment, failure to deduct statutory taxes, inadequate supporting documentation, and failure to maintain impressed records.
The committee found that the responses provided by the fund administrator were largely inadequate and unsupported. These findings point to mismanagement of the fund and negligence in its administration, exposing public resources to risk. The committee has therefore made recommendations aimed at strengthening financial accountability and ensuring responsible officers are held accountable. Mr. Speaker, the mandate of the committee and the committee membership is as stated. We acknowledge the support of the Office of the Speaker and Office of the Clerk for facilitating the committee in undertaking its oversight responsibility. Finally, the committee appreciates the dedication of its members and the Secretariat in preparing this report. Mr. Speaker, I won't go through the role of the Auditor General. We go to the committee observations, findings, and recommendations. Number one, Mr. Speaker, the committee made the following observations. One, there was unsupported class of transactions and account balances. The Auditor General queried that the financial statement contained balances that were not supported by schedules and itemized tabulations as follows. Employee costs of 34,293,043 shillings. Use of goods and services of 56,924,753. Receivables 5,630,625. Property, plant, and equipment of 1,876,000. The total unsupported balances were 98,724,556. The management, when asked to respond, said that the departmental accountant had reconciled the discrepancies and provided the committee with the same summary that the Auditor General included in the report. So the committee findings. The committee observed that the response failed to explain the root causes of the unsupported balances and did not identify responsible officers. The committee further noted that management failed to provide reconciliation schedules, adjusting journal entries, and supporting documentation for balances. The committee recommends the CCM for Health Services conducts a comprehensive forensic reconciliation of all unsupported balances totaling 98,724,556 within 30 days. The same should be sent to the Office of the Auditor General and the Assembly Committee on Health Services. Mr. Speaker, we are recommending to the Assembly Committee on Health Services because our mandate for this report ends on the 22nd and we do not want that issue to die. The Committee on Health Services will report on the same in its report on the annual statements of the fund. Number two, there was unsupported cash and cash equivalents reconciliation. The auditor raised concerns over the absence of bank reconciliation statements for the fund accounts in support of cash and cash equivalents of 39,571,660. The management said that the revenue amount schedules have since been aggregated and are hereby provided and are fragmented per stream of revenue income. The committee findings. The committee noted the failure to prepare bank reconciliation statements represents a serious internal control weakness. Without reconciliation of bank accounts, unauthorized withdrawals may go undetected, revenue leakages may occur, financial statements cannot be reliably verified. The committee recommends that, one, the accounting officer of the fund should submit to the Auditor General all outstanding bank reconciliation statements for financial year 24-25 within 14 days. A copy of the received statement should be sent to the Assembly within 7 days of receipt by the Office of the Auditor General. The County Secretary Treasury should offer enough technical support to the different facilities for accounting and financial reporting purposes. A report on the same be sent to the Assembly within 90 days. On that, the County Treasury should implement a mandatory reconciliation as per Regulation 19, and the Chief Officer Finance takes responsibility when documentation of such reconciliation is not provided to him. Mr. Speaker, we have the third issue, the overfunding of 1,973,250. The auditor identified discrepancies between budgeted revenue, 93 million, and revenue received of 135. Further to the audit query, the committee identified more discrepancy between revenue reported in the financial statements submitted to the Auditor General and revenue reported by the Controller General. The revenue receipts reported in the Controller of Budgets report for the same period amounted to 282.53 million. The committee therefore requested for reconciliation of the variance of 71 million. The management attributed the variance to higher revenue collections and introduction of the Social Health Authority. On the variance between the revenue reported in the financial statements and in the report of the Controller of Budget, the management responded that the discrepancy was likely attributable to differences in reporting frameworks, particularly between the amounts captured in departmental expenditure reports and the revenue figures reported in the audited financial statements, and the adoption of the IPSAS accrual basis, which is being implemented on a phased basis. Committee observes that the management response is largely insufficient. First, it fails to provide a clear quantitative reconciliation of the 71 million variance between the revenue reported in the financial statements and the amount reported in the Controller of Budget report. Instead of presenting the two figures and explaining the difference through a structured reconciliation, the response only offers general explanations. Second, the explanation relying on the phased adoption of IPSAS is not adequate to account for the discrepancy. While the transition to accrual accounting may affect the recognition of certain assets, liabilities, or expenses, it does not ordinarily cause large differences in revenue that has already been collected and banked during the financial year. Consequently, citing the IPSAS transition framework does not sufficiently justify a variance of this magnitude. Finally, the response is unsupported by any documentary evidence. No reconciliation schedules, revenue reports, cash book extracts, bank statements, or IFMIS records were provided to substantiate the explanation. In the absence of such documentation, the explanation remains speculative and does not adequately resolve the audit concern. Committee recommendations. The accounting officer for the Facility Improvement Fund should within 14 days submit to the committee a detailed reconciliation of the 71 million variance between revenue reported in the financial statements and that reported to the Controller of Budget, supported by cash books, bank statements, IFMIS reports, and facility revenue registers in compliance with Section 68(2)(k) of the Public Finance Management Act, PFMA 2012, which requires accounting officers to maintain accurate financial records. The county treasury should within 30 days conduct an independent verification of all FIF revenue for financial year 2024-2025 and submit a conciliation report to the County Assembly and the Auditor General pursuant to its mandate under Section 104(1)(d) of the PFMA 2012 to ensure proper accounting and control finances. The accounting officer should provide revised financial statements and submit them to the Auditor General as required under Section 164 of the PFMA Act. The fourth query was on late submissions of financial statements. The committee observed that failure to comply with the statutory reporting deadline undermines transparency and violates Section 164 of the PFMA Act. The management acknowledged responsibility but did not explain the cause of delay. The committee recommends that the fund management puts in place adequate control measures to ensure accuracy and timely financial reporting in accordance with the Public Finance Management Act. Any non-compliance with the Act shall be subject to the sanctions provided under Section 196(1). There was the issue on the regular recruitment of temporary employees. Under review of the recruitment process under the County Department of Health revealed the engagement of 371 casual employees who was undertaken without evidence of a documented job needs assessment or formal authorization for the recruitment. In addition, the temporary employees were paid total wages totaling 34 million for the year ended 30th June 2025, having been engaged continuously for periods exceeding 3 consecutive months in contravention of Section 37 of the Employment Act 2007. Further, the recruitment was conducted without any form of advertisement or competitive sourcing, contrary to the provisions of Section 65 of the County Government Act 2012, which requires appointments to be merit-based, transparent, and competitive. In the circumstances, management was breach of the law. The management cited staff socialists as the reason for hiring temporary staff. It also stated that the department is in the process of seeking authorization for engagement of temporary employees from the CEC as well as the County Public Service Board. The committee noted that operational needs cannot override statutory requirement procedure. Failure to involve the County Public Service Board may lead to irregular employment and payment fraud. Further to this, the committee noted a variance of 9,943,242 between the financial statements sent to the Assembly and those sent to the Auditor General with regards to employee cost. Mr. Speaker, under Section 82(7) of the PFMA Act, the administrator of a county public fund is required to prepare annual accounts and submit financial statements to the Auditor General and present to the same to the County Assembly within 3 months after the end of the financial year. The submission of 2 different sets of financial statements to oversight institutions undermines the requirement for accurate and reliable financial reporting under the Act. The recommendations. The committee recommends that CPSB, in collaboration with the CCM for Health, immediately regularizes the employment status of the 371 casual employees who served continuously beyond 3 months in accordance with Section 37 of the Employment Act. Further, all future recruitment within the Department of Health must be undertaken exclusively through the County Public Service Board in a transparent and competitive process as required under Section 65 of the County Governments Act. 2. The committee further recommends that the CPSB does conduct an investigation on the engagement of the casuals and the fund administrator and any officers involved in bypassing the County Public Service Board during the recruitment process be subjected to disciplinary action for contravening statutory requirement procedures in accordance with applicable public service regulations. Further to this, Mr. Speaker, the committee recommends that the county's treasury, through the County Executive Committee member for the Department of Health, ensures the implementation of robust accountability and internal control measures within the department to guarantee the accuracy and consistency of financial reporting. Particular attention should be given to addressing the variance of 9,943,242 in employee costs reported to the County Assembly and the Auditor General, which is a matter that, Mr. Speaker, we treated as fraud. The committee further recommends that immediate corrective action be undertaken to reconcile the discrepancies and to ensure that all financial statements submitted comply with the requirements of Section 82(7) of the PFMA Act. The committee emphasizes that adherence to the provisions of the Public Finance Management Act 2012 is mandatory, and any non-compliance with the Act attracts the sanctions prescribed under Section 96, including a fine not exceeding 5 million, imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years, or both. The committee allowances amounting to 2,386,000 were not subjected to pay deductions. The committee management indicated it would seek guidance. The committee observed that the fund administrator failed to exercise due diligence in the administration of statutory deductions. The committee recommended that pursuant to the 2023 circular by the SRC, committee sittings allowances payable to public officers were abolished. Consequently, any continued payment of such allowances to public officers constitutes an illegality and improper charge on the fund. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, the committee recommends that the full amount of 2,386,260 be surcharged against the officer or officers who authorized the payments inapplicable with public finance management laws. The responsible accounting officer shall submit a report to the County Assembly within 45 days detailing the actions taken to recover the funds. The failure to provide contract monitoring reports, the auditors say that no monitoring reports were prepared. The management indicated they didn't do that at that time. They only committed to ensure provision of the procurement contract progress reports from the current financial year going onwards. Upon examination of the financial statement, the committee did not identify any funds spent on construction contracts. The committee could therefore not proceed to make any recommendation on this particular query. 8, the lack of vehicle maintenance logs. The vehicle maintenance logs were not maintained. During the audit period, there was a delay in submission of the reports required for audit verification. However, the department has followed up on the required documentation and are hereby attached for verification. The committee observed that the department submitted vehicle logbooks, but not the maintenance logs requested by the auditor. Hence, the committee could not verify whether the amount of 988,677 used for routine maintenance of motor vehicles was actually used appropriately. This points to laxity of the accounting officer in managing the use of public funds. The committee recommends that documents including the vehicle maintenance log, payment vouchers, physical receipts of 988,677 used for routine maintenance of motor vehicles be availed to the Assembly and the Office of the Auditor General for verification within 14 days. The committee will follow up on this recommendation. Mr. Speaker, there was a query on failure to maintain impress registers. Impress registers recording the issuance, utilization, and surrender of an amount of 966,015 reported under domestic travel were not maintained. Management responded that domestic travel expenses reported in the fund financial statement represents amount expensed by the county's rural health facilities. However, these facilities do not maintain impress registers. Going forward, management will endeavor to ensure the facilities maintain impress registers. Committee findings. The failure to maintain impress registers exposes the fund to misappropriation of public funds, since impress are a high-risk financial control area. Such committee recommendations. In accordance with the Public Finance Management Act, the accounting officer shall initiate surcharge proceedings against any officer responsible for unsupported, unaccounted, or unsurrendered impress identified in the 916,015 expenditure. A report on the same should be sent to the Assembly within 45 days. Other committee observations. The committee observed that the regulations governing the operations of the fund have not been gazetted, which delays full operationalization of the legal and administrative framework required for proper management of the fund. Implementation of regulations would cure some of these audit issues. The committee therefore recommends that the Gazette regulations are submitted to the Assembly for approval within 30 days. The committee further observed that the fund incurred administrative expenses amounting to 44,205,650 shillings out of total funds revenue of 135,427,202, representing approximately 33% of the fund's reported revenue, which is a disproportionately high share of the fund's resources. In comparison, Mr. Speaker, most county funds operate with administrative cost ceilings ranging between 3 and 5% of total funds, yet the administrative expenditure in this instance is significantly higher. On this issue, Mr. Speaker, the committee recommends that the Committee on Health does a thorough interrogation into the excessive administrative cost and reports on the same in its reports on the annual financial statements of the fund. Finally, Mr. Speaker, the committee review of the Auditor General report on the Facility Improvement Fund revealed significant weaknesses in financial reporting, internal controls, and statutory compliance. Where the department acknowledged several issues raised in the audit, the responses often lacked sufficient detail, documentation, and corrective action plans. The committee therefore emphasizes the need for the CECM health services, the need to implement the recommendations contained in this report without delay. Enforcing financial discipline and improving accountability mechanisms will ensure the Facility Improvement Fund effectively supports service delivery in health facilities across Nyandarua County. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. trying to find my members of. Let me invite the Honorable Kongo to second.
Yes, Kongo, you can come to the rescue.
So, Honorable Speaker, I want to second the report and I want to thank the committee for doing some good work. Honorable Speaker, I'm impressed by some of the recommendations that has been done by the committee, and more specifically by taking back the matter to the sectoral committee because they are in a position to have more time, ample time, to make sure. This is what Honorable Speaker was saying. We can come here and read reports and give recommendations, and then after that, nothing is done. But now having made recommendation to the committee, health committee, I know this is a matter that now the committee health is going to take upon themselves. They are going to invite the relevant stakeholders who are in charge, and they are going to make sure that these things are resolved. Honorable Speaker, allow me to say this. FIF is one of the very crucial funds that we have in this county. And by the time we were doing this FIF, because it was done at the national level, and we customized or domesticated here in the county, it is a fund that is intended to bring a great change or great revival in our health sector. FIF is money that is going to our facilities, and we have been encouraging facilities that the amount of money you collect is taken back to you, and these are money that are retained and utilized within the facilities. It is intended, Honorable Speaker, to improve the facilities. It is intended to make sure that the welfare of the employees within these facilities is enhanced, and it is also intended to cure some of the illness that you used to have for procurement of some of crucial commodities within our facilities, where you had to go through the normal requisition, the normal procurement, and sometimes with our delays. So we have given the committees of the facility to have a procurement committee. They have money in the bank. They can use, you know, health. Sometimes some of these commodities you don't have to wait. But Honorable Speaker, it's amazing when the Auditor General comes with such a report and highlights so many gaps within this FIF fund. Honorable Speaker, when I was listening to the debate the other day, and I could see that the in charge of facilities were saying they are going on strike. They were saying that now there is interference from the CCM. They have gone to court. And I know even some of the politicians in this county had offered what you call in legal, I don't know whether they were being paid, let me not say. They were doing it for free. But there was a debate sometimes back, if members can remember, that they are going to court to put the government and ask the government to stop interfering with FIF. This is what happens when you stop interfering. Honorable Speaker, when you are being told that the administration cost has consumed 40%, so what does that mean? We did not intend that this money should go for administration. We had indicated that actually 30% of the money should go to infrastructure development. We had given this facility the power to hire through the ROCAM. We have given the facilities power to procure for strategic stocks. We have continued to complain in this county that there is not enough strategic stock or medicine. And through FIF, we had given these committees mandate to do direct procurement for their facilities. But instead of procuring, they are using 35% on administration costs. Honorable Speaker, if you are going to look carefully, you will realize that initially we used to give around 27 million through the budget committee to our facilities to run, and they used to run with 27 million. What we used to call these are the facility transfer. That is exclusive of referral hospitals. Now, if you look at what is happening through the level 1 and level 3 hospital, they are collecting in tune of 63 million. That is 3 times what we used to give them. But have we seen change? Can we see that our services are better? There are more resources coming to them, but we have not seen such much improvement. And some of the reasons are indicated here by the control by the Auditor General on what is happening with FIF. We have allowed them to use money. They are not accounting money. They are taking interest. They cannot surrender interest. They are not supported. You can, when you talk of unsupported expenditure, we don't know how that money has been used. So, Honorable Speaker, I support the committee. And I know that we will have ample time because I'm a member of Health Committee to make sure that we go into details to the recommendation of Pitch Park and bring a report to this House with actions. And we are going to invite those people and we'll make sure that this money and this fund, it serves its purpose. And I second Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I now propose the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment on the report of the Office of Auditor General on the Nyandarua County Health Facility Improvement Financing Fund for the year ended 30th June 2025 as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as a resolution of the House. Yes, Honorable Ngeshi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the work done by the committee on county public account. These are a kind of reports that can change this county forever. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy because when we started the issue of looking into financial statement for our two facilities, that is JM and Engineer, it has now been cascaded even to the other facilities, such that now we have the facility improvement fund. We can be able to look at what they are doing quarterly. I like whatever the reports that we have brought in this House as a Committee on Health, they now agree with the Auditor General. From the onset, I support this report. Their findings and recommendations I support fully, Mr. Speaker. Because in the other report just that has been moved here, the issue of financial management is coming up. The executive summary, the committee has observed serious weaknesses in financial management internal controls and statutory compliance in the administration of the fund. It is simple as telling you, Mr. Speaker, that when you go to JM funeral home, you just ask how many bodies has been brought here in a year. You get there 300 bodies. What was the minimum charge for everybody? It is 5,000. So 300 times 5,000, that's give you 1.5 million. When you now come to the figures now, you find that, Mr. Speaker, is that they will just disclosed in that particular financial year, and this was the example I was giving. In this particular financial year, we are able to correct 700,000. Where is the balance? Nobody is responsible. Nobody cares. I draw you to your attention, Mr. Speaker, to that page of employees. There was the employees cost. The employees cost, that is on irregular recruitment of temporary employees, whereby you've found it has been refilled 371 employees, casual employees, was undertaken without evidence of a documented job needs assessment or formal authorization for the recruitment. In addition, the temporary employees were paid wages totaling to 34 million for the year ended 30th June 2025, having been engaged continuously for a period exceeding 3 consecutive months. And now this is in contravention with the sections 37 of the Employment Act 2007. The point is this, Mr. Speaker. When you go to committee finding, the committee noted that operation cannot override statutory recruitment procedures. Failure to inform the County Public Service Board may lead to irregular employment and payroll fraud. Further to this, and this is what I want maybe to put my point here very clearly. The committee noted a variance of 9,943,242 between the financial statement sent to the Assembly. And once they were sent to this Assembly, they were committed to Committee on Health. And those sent to the Auditor General with regard to employees' costs. Mr. Speaker, who is fooling who? A committee that is mandated to look into financial statement, it is being fed, it is consuming a different script from what the Auditor General is being fed with. Did we err in any way? How did we err this department as a committee? What is being hidden here, such that we are? How can we trust the information that they bring to us at a committee level? If they can just try this, they give you false information, so that you, in your making decision or in your making recommendation, you make a recommendation maybe in their favor, or they want to prove that they are doing things in a light way. You know, they may fool all people all time. But now, in a daylight, it has been revealed that the disclosures, and this we will be very keen as a committee, we can be fed with the wrong information to fit the committee. This is an independent body. The auditor is an independent person. Failure to tax committee allowances. Committee allowance, Mr. Speaker, amounting to 2.3 million. They were not taxed. You know, in our financial statement reporting we made to this house, and we disclose, I can rely on that particular report. Last financial year, JM Hospital, Engineer Hospital, lost 8 or 9 million. That money was never transferred to those two facilities. I brought that report. It is in the shelf. Nobody even today is ready to tell us where that money went. Today, we have been revealed that 98 million now, this financial year, 98 million cannot be accounted for. So, as a committee, we have gone ahead and we have done our legislative work, whereby we have been able to pass this particular rule, the customized rule, Facility Improvement Fund. And as the secretary has indicated, we did this because we wanted and we had the goodwill for our facilities. Today, you can see unsupported balances. Just even you don't need to go through even you don't go even go to figures. But somebody who is from accountant, who is from the IPSAS, will know this. It will give us a defense. We are having a defense reporting. A defense. A defense means the accounting officer of the said entity should be nowhere near freedom. That is what it means. When you talk of unsupported balances, lack of bank reconciliation, revenue inconsistencies, irregular recruitment, failure to deduct statutory taxes, inadequate supporting documentation, and failure to maintain impressed records. Human health is a human resource sector. Just yesterday we had over 20 nurses and nutritionists. They are demotivated. They were here. They were expressing it. And they are telling us, the committee, save us. Save us from this monster. Because whatever we are experiencing, whatever we are getting from the we are in for big trouble. Today, we are having one of the advance reporting. I'm happy with the committee on public accounts, because in their recommendation, they have indicated that committee, the mother committee for the Department of Health, we are going to follow this. I don't want to preempt what will happen, but even if it will be only the committee member who are left to defend and to bring the sanity and dignity of our people here in Nyandarua, that one we are going to do it, because FIF has been rated to be the best. We are croaking $500 million. We are going to correct almost $500 million. If we don't cushion, if we don't cross this loophole as early as now, Mr. Speaker, we are going to lose a lot of money. Because there is some tremendous improvement that have been seen happening now. That the other time we were to correct to 250. Look, they corrected 113%. This financial year, we are going to correct $500 million. If we allow this kind of behavior to continue, we will only have poor health care in Nyandarua and a few rich people. That is exactly the scenario that will happen. So, Mr. Speaker, I know your good office will be able to give us the support that it requires, because, as I summarize, it is just last month, my own mother was admitted to JM Hospital for several weeks, several weeks. You know why? It is because I have trust now with our institution, and we can only make them better. Even now, nobody will be involved in an accident. Even any member who is involved in the first station you will be rushed. It is JM or nearest facility. So we must cushion. We must change this narrative. And the ball is in their court now to prove whatever has been done. We have now 2 reports telling them to do this. Do the things in the right way, in the right manner. You know, I will not swear. But I know the God himself will be using me in that particular committee, so that we can harmonize, we can streamline that particular department. And I support their recommendation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Ngeshe. You have Honorable Joyce Munywa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And from the onset, I wish to thank the committee, the PICPAC, for the issues that they are bringing forth, and which for me, as a professional accountant, it's a very sad state of affair. And when I look at the observations that have really been listed, without trying to repeat what Honorable Geshe has indicated, they make me wonder, like, first of the thing I'm asking myself, do we even have an internal audit department? Because when we talk about a lack of bank reconciliation, when we talk about unsupported expenditure, when we talk about unaccounted interest, when we talk about all these things that we are indicating here, where we are even spending more than 33% of the funds that have been gotten for administration cost. So I'm left wondering, like, what other controls do we have in such a department that has lots of resources that have been vested into them? And I like what Honorable Gesha has said. This, to me, might even look very little money, but based on even the projections that we are having for the coming years, we might have a monster with us that all the resources that we get are utilized in the way that they are not intended for, and what was intended, especially for FIF, on especially the hospital, the capital expenditures that we needed to do for the hospital might not be realized. So I really support the recommendation, and I hope, as has been indicated by the committee, that the Sectoral Committee of Health will seriously take this up, and as they do that, can they also maybe find out whether how the internal audit department in the department is really working, because it's either they lack the capacity to really ensure that compliance is done, or is done with other intentions of actually misusing the public resources. So I support, and I really wish that the committee, the mother committee, the sectoral committee, can really follow up to ensure that these things do not happen even in the subsequent years. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable. Thank you, Honorable Joyce. Honorable Matimo.
Mr. Speaker, Sama will be very brief because most of the issues that I wanted to tackle has been mentioned by Honorable Ngeshe and also Chair Budget and Honorable Joyce. But Mr. Speaker, one thing that has caught my eye is on employees' cost, which was at 34 million. Mr. Speaker, I would wish the Chair Budget, the Chair Health, they should look at this issue further and try to look at how this money, or what was the intention of this money, 34 million. Yet, when we budget for salaries, this amount is never considered, but from now the facility level, you find that they've set aside 34 million for employees' cost. Again, Mr. Speaker, the variance is that in the entire report, these are monies that, Mr. Speaker, we should dig further and try to find is where did this money or what really transpired, so that we can have variance from from the statements, from the books that are provided, Mr. Speaker. Then the other one, Mr. Speaker, is on something again that I would wish the Chair Health to look further into it, and this is on these staff who have been employed in the facility. The temporary staff or the staff on contract, which who we've been told are 371. Mr. Speaker, we would wish to know who are these, and what are their duties, and where are they currently? Because we might be having 371 years, but they never report to work, Mr. Speaker. The last but not the least, Mr. Speaker, is on money that has been mentioned on domestic travels, that impress was taken and nothing was done. I think these are, and as it has been recommended by the PICPAC, these are money that, Mr. Speaker, should be surcharged to whoever took these monies, and the money should be taken back to the county coffers. And also the 33 administration cost at a cost of 44 million, Mr. Speaker. This is not little money. If at all we passed that they should consume 3 to 5%, yet they are going to 33%, Mr. Speaker. The other money is over and above what was passed should also be surcharged, and the same taken back to our facilities so that our residents can get medication. With that, I call the mover.
Thank you. The mover, you can respond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the sentiments of the honorable members, and I would only want to respond to the issues that were raised by the majority, the budget chair, when he raised an issue on how this House is going to make sure that this thing is implementable. As the PICPAC committee, we have tried as much as possible within the law to provide avenues. And the beauty with this House, Mr. Speaker, is that the way our committees are planned, you have the sectoral committees, the chair of health and the members of the health know about these issues. Then you come to the PICPAC committee. Unfortunately for us, we do the post-mortem when the baby is already dead. But so we are saying, for the sake of the next baby, to ensure the next baby is taken care of, Mr. Speaker, we have an implementation tracker, a very good one in this House. So I hope that now the Committee on Implementation ensures that it follows this up and ensures that every sectoral committee that a recommendation has been made to receives this report. And for example, Mr. Speaker, like when we say the county treasury should within 30 days provide an independent verification of all FIF revenue and submit a reconciliation report to the county assembly. Now the chairman for health does not have to worry about fake records. Now we have everything. It is upon them to take action. I move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Muhindi. I now put the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment on the report of the Office of the Auditor General on the Nyandarua County Health Facility Improvement Financing Fund for the year ended 30th June 2025 as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolution of the House. May those of a similar opinion say aye. May those of a contrary opinion say nay. And the ayes have it. Clerk, next order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we have exhausted the business as appearing in this afternoon's sitting order paper.
There being no other business to transact during today's sitting, I now adjourn the House to Tuesday, the 24th day of March, 2026 at 9:30 a.m.
Our best.